specialize in those individuals who believe they are superheroes.
Good for you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to yet another movie review. Today we are reviewing Glass, and today I am joined by Devin and Harlan yet again. How have you guys been doing so far?
I'm doing well. I'm doing very well.
Happy
Same as
Taco
last
Tuesday.
Not sure if this review will have a split decision, but we'll find out.
Oh my god!
I hear this trilogy is unbreakable.
All right, I'm not going to continue that trend. Let's just.
Oh boy!
Hope we don't drop the glass.
Nope, I don't.
No,
I don't really
okay.
get that one.
All right, it's all right. No. Oh, okay. Anyway, so this movie is starring some pretty big A-list actors. We get Samuel Jackson, we got McAvoy, and we have Bruce Willis, the man who looks like he's tired 24/7. Or I swear, he looks like he just woke up.
He was nodding off a lot of this movie.
So was I.
Oh boy!
Oh man.
Just a little bit. So, what do
Man
you got?
constantly looks like he took some melatonin.
Yeah, that is
sorry,
very true. He's on something. I just don't know what it is. He looks very relaxed though. Like he never gets, stressed out or never lets the worst parts get to him in life, I guess. But what were your guys' thoughts, first impressions about this movie when you saw the trailer originally?
I'm also curious about your thoughts because you've never seen the first two, so you have a very interesting perspective.
All right.
I think you should take the first.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty lost. I remember Unbreakable coming out, but I never really got a chance to see it. And there were times in this movie where they just took a chill pill and everything kind of just slowed down, and I was like, okay. I understand what they were trying to do. I understand what M. Night Shyamalan was trying to do, especially with his little cameo. Did he cameo in the other two?
He cameos in every movie.
He did.
Okay.
That's his thing. He's a modern day Hitchcock.
But yeah, especially towards the end. By the way, this is a spoiler review for everyone out there listening. Yeah, I was I see how they're all connected, but I was still wait, who's Mr. Glass? I'm oh, I didn't know he was in Unbreakable. And yeah. But I think the problem with this trilogy is that with Unbreakable, it came out what? Over 10 years
2000.
ago? Yeah, 19.
So almost 20 years.
It's almost 20 years. So
And Split came out 16 years after Unbreakable.
Right.
But no one knew it was a sequel at that time.
Right. And I was okay, I'm Split can work on a movie on its own. It's just a guy with, identity crisis pretty much. And yeah, I wasn't weirded out by it. I was pretty lost though, because everyone else in the theater was cheering. They're oh my God. I knew who, McAvoy's character, but I pretty much knew the story and I knew who the Beast was. I didn't know that the reason why he had the split personalities was because of his childhood trauma. So that was pretty interesting. So I was kind of learning about all three movies at once while watching this one. I went to go see it in the Dolby Theater, which honestly definitely made it a lot more fun to watch. My seats were rumbling. I was clear 4K picture and everything. It was amazing, Harlan. I swear to God that
Dolby's the way to go.
Yeah.
Dolby is the way to go. IMAX is great too, but Dolby's just a little bit better for sure. But overall, I thought the third act was kind of lackluster, but I get what he was trying to do. I guess I was trying to see more action overall, because let me spoiler alert again, all three of them die, and I was what's the point of this movie again?
yeah, we'll get to that.
So those are just kind of my 2 cents, I guess. I didn't hate it, but I didn't really like it. I kind of like how they touched on the superhero, like what the role of a super villain is in the role of a superhero, and I kind of like the dynamic duo of McAvoy and Mr. Glass overall. So that was
So,
cool.
Christian, you've seen this movie and this movie alone, correct?
Yes.
Now, Devin, you've experienced these movies in chronological order, right?
False.
So you saw so you saw,
I saw Split and then Unbreakable and then
Okay,
Glass.
so I'm in the same boat as you
Yes.
with that regard. How did you feel about the treatment of these characters in the movie?
So when I saw Split coming out, I was like, okay, this looks interesting. I'll give Shyamalan another chance, and enjoyed Split. It was a good movie. And then they had this little after credit scene that everyone's freaking out about. I'm like, oh, Unbreakable. What is this? So then I wandered down to the old VHS store to try to dig one of these out.
The old VHS store.
No, but yeah, I streamed Unbreakable, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good movie.
Mm-hmm.
So then you get to Glass. All three of these guys together, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be sweet. And then they kind of just like ignore David Dunn after the first 10 minutes, which was not great. They didn't give him any real chance to shine. But McAvoy is great, of course. Samuel L. Jackson's good. But yeah, I don't really know. The biggest thing for me is this movie had a $20 million budget, and that's just not enough.
Didn't M. Night Shyamalan front a lot of that money himself?
He
I'm pretty
mortgaged
sure.
Mm-hmm.
Mortgaged his house in order to help make it.
What?
Yes.
Bollocks. Get
No
out
way.
of
And
here.
it's actually a miracle that this movie was even made because of the rights issues. Because it's a split
Wow.
between Universal and Disney. Like-
It's a split.
Oh,
Yep,
God,
I
stop
said
it.
it.
Stop it. Stop.
I'm
But yeah,
sorry.
Universal and Disney had to create a deal in order to even get this movie made. So it was like a miracle that it was even made.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because one
That's
owned the
interesting.
rights to Unbreakable, one owned the rights to Split.
The biggest offense for me when talking about this movie is that M. Night Shyamalan can create some very vivid and very powerful characters. In Split, Kevin Wendell Crumb is such an amazing force. He drives that movie, and he's also the main force behind this movie. James McAvoy does a fantastic job. And then you've got Samuel L. Jackson and Bruce Willis, and they are magnificent actors. They have proven themselves. You know, they're old and they have a storied history and a storied career. And the fact
Absolutely.
that the only genuine thing that you can really say about this movie that is uniformly positive is that James McAvoy did a fantastic job is very disappointing to me. These are the three best characters that M. Night has written, in my opinion, over the course of his entire career. And he stuck him in a psych ward for an hour and a half.
He literally.
Yes.
An actual
put him
psych ward. Like an
in a
abandoned
psych
psych
ward.
ward.
Can we talk about the psych ward for a second?
Yeah, we got it. We got
Like,
it.
I understand suspension of disbelief. I understand that to an extent. But this
One
psych ward
guard!
had one guard throughout every night. There was one guard protecting, or like
I didn't even realize that
Guarding.
until you just said it now.
what is that
Mhm.
set system? What do you mean?
Mhm.
One
Wow.
guard throughout the whole night, and then another one comes in to replace him.
Well, I mean, I
It's-
guess, yeah. I mean, Mr. Glass isn't very threatening in a way. I mean, you know, he
Well, they
uses
don't think
his
so
brains.
because he's like comatose or trying to be comatose.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but like, shoot, honestly, if I was stuck in a room, I don't know who I'd be more afraid of. McAvoy's character or Bruce Willis, because one's just crazy as hell, but the other one literally is like unbreakable. It can just ruin your day. I might be a little bit more afraid of McAvoy. I'm not gonna lie.
That throat slitting scene from Glass was pretty good.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
That was one of the few like good
I was like,
action
woo!
type
Mhm.
movements.
I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, this is starting to get good, and then like the pacing kind of went down a little bit more. And they're like, yeah.
I just-
Sorry, go ahead.
No. So I've seen this movie twice now.
Oh,
I've had the
did you
luxury,
really?
or yes, I did. I don't know if I call it a luxury or maybe a punishment, but I would hazard a guess that on everyone's second go around, when they go into this film knowing what to expect, knowing that they're not going to get some culminating gigantic showdown on the top of the world or in front of everybody, and they get a smaller self-contained story about this psych ward, it definitely changes the way you see things in the movie, because you're not expecting it to be a big sprawling thing over the city of Philadelphia in the way that Unbreakable is, or a small confined tight thriller in the way that Split is. It tries to kind of play both realms and have the characters who are not the three main individuals going about their lives trying to help out their counterpart that's in this ward. And it's just generally, even under that pretense and under that notion, it's still an unsatisfying watch.
Yep. The ending specifically is what just makes it all fall apart.
He treats these characters so stupidly.
Like, he just threw them all the way. I'm like, but there was like 4 or 5 different endings. So I'm like, oh, okay. So like, do they just die? And then
that's a Shyamalan classic, but like this one was just too much.
And then like you find out Mr. Glass, like, you know, the reason why they went through the basement instead of like the first or second floor. And it's like, oh, like we want to see, like he wanted to show the world like who they really were. And it's like, okay, but like now they're dead. So like what else is there to do?
Well, there is that line that Elijah utters saying that this is not a limited edition, this is an origin story.
That's right.
And
right
I don't know if he's setting this specific world up for more movies.
I think he is.
You know, I'd watch another one. I'm a big fan of M. Night Shyamalan, despite all of his shortcomings. I think that a lot of people understandably have issues with the ending. I personally enjoyed it. I liked that there was a bunch of different avenues that he took to get to that final culminating point of superheroes are real and everybody finally knows about them, because that's kind of what that's kind of what Unbreakable was setting up since the beginning of that.
The secret society part is what was the worst part.
I agree. That was silly.
Oh, I was so lost when that happened.
They didn't set that up at all. They just threw it in there.
No.
They didn't set up anything. They just threw the clove tattoos in.
See, like, I thought that was something that I missed from like Split or like Unbreakable.
No, it's nothing. They
Unfortunately
started there at that moment.
An even more satisfying twist would have been if every M. Night Shyamalan movie was like the same world. How crazy would that have been? That would have been amazing.
Like the kid from Sixth Sense has the power to control ghosts and spirits. How fucking sick would that be?
That would be amazing. Haley Joel Osment, he makes his comeback. Osment.
Yeah, Haley Joel Osment, come on down.
Oh my god.
What's he doing now?
And he's in water pops out of nowhere.
A Hulu TV show.
The Narf.
Lady in the
Mark Wahlberg shows up. Oh, hey guys.
He can speak to trees. Oh, every movie is connected. Just
you know what? I wouldn't put it past Shyamalan to actually have that. Because, like, that would be a Shyamalan thing to do. Like, every movie that he makes, it's somehow...
Aang shows up.
No! No, we're not. No. Oh, you mean Ong and Sokka? I was so mad watching that movie. I'm like, what has this man done?
Oh, it's
to
worth
my
a watch.
childhood?
It's fun. It's fun.
It is god awful. Oh my gosh. I don't know what's worse, that or Dragon Ball Evolution. They're both equally bad. My god. Wow. So, I guess I would have to ask you guys, would you buy this on Blu-ray?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Maybe for like $10 for me.
Maybe if it was like a 3-movie collection.
Yes, I would buy the 3-movie collection.
I would. I would. I definitely.
And you know what? I would watch Unbreakable. I would watch Split, and I would at least think about watching Glass. I don't know if I would.
I would think about watching Glass and go watch like Sixth Sense or something instead.
Yeah.
Or you know, any other movie. But like people, I guess. Touching back when you were saying, you know, everyone was expecting this huge showdown like the middle of Philadelphia. Because, like, I guess I was kind of, like, expecting more of, like, you know, like a Marvel fight. But then
they were building it up because they mentioned that tower at least 10 times.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Like 1,000 times.
The Hasoki, what was it? Let me look it up.
Or, like,
the Osaka Tower.
Yeah, the Osaka Tower.
Yeah, like, or, like, every single time they kept mentioning.
The fact that they took the time to CGI in this fake tower and then do nothing with it.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean?
And they kept
Well, I
mentioning,
think
like,
that-
oh, by the way, this is a superhero movie. It's like, we know. Well, I know.
I think that would arise from his fear, M. Night's fear to do action sequences, because the action sequences in this movie were dreadful. They weren't very
they were not
enticing.
good, man. I was
And
excited.
They
That
were
also-
very run of the mill.
Yeah.
That also goes back to the budget too, because there's just not much you can do with 20 million.
I
Well,
was
he's
looking
been able to
forward.
do things with less than that. I mean, he made The Visit, and that had some spooky
Well,
moments. in
that,
it.
that,
That
had
had
no,
some good
that had
action.
no good act like A-list actors, and he's got to pay
That's
Bruce
fair.
Willis,
Yeah.
Shyamalan, or McAvoy.
But I would say that the strength of these superhero movies that he's done in the past, in the forms of Unbreakable and Split, you don't remember the action from it. You
Yeah.
remember the
There was,
the
like,
story and
limits.
the structure from it,
Yeah.
and a couple spooky parts.
and very many spooky parts in Split.
There was no spooky parts in Glass. I will say that.
No spooky parts, unfortunately.
But yeah, the fight scenes. I think he threw on a GoPro at some point to get those first-person perspectives.
Oh,
That
my
was-
word.
He did.
That
He
was
definitely did that.
dreadful. That was awful to watch. Like, it was shaky cam, but first person. That just wasn't good.
I'll be honest, I think that if he had stuck with the GoPro for the entirety of it and didn't try to do a bunch of different styles, it would have been more effective. But the fact is, I feel that M. Night's just trying to throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. And the fact of the matter is that he's thrown so much at the wall that the wall is gone. He's just thrown things out into the world, and nobody cares.
Like, I've always viewed Shyamalan as like that movie director who aspires to be like a good movie director, but like, I don't know. Like, I don't hate him, but he's just like,
He really wants to be Hitchcock. Like, that's the perfect. analogy.
yeah, like, like he wants, like it's like he purposely tries to like make his movies have all these like crazy random twists, and like for everyone, I don't know what it is. Like, I don't hate the guy, but it's kind of like he's kind of just like the it's almost like he's forever the like underdog that like only half the people root for, or like he's always
He's like-
aspiring to be.
He's like
something.
that's weird. He's like polarizing, but not like
Yeah,
negatively. He's just like
it's weird.
polarized.
I don't know what it is.
See, here's the thing. I'm a huge M. Night fan. I love him to pieces. I love his bad movies. I love his good movies. I think the man inherently knows how to make a movie watchable. And the thing that pains me to say about Glass is that
But not
it's a
viable.
little boring.
I'm kidding.
It's sometimes a little boring. I've seen it twice, and I am not instantly rushing out to see it again. You could put on any of his movies right now. You could put on Lady in the Water. You could put on The Last Airbender, and I would love to watch it because it's just such an entertaining ride for me. And I think that the man is very ambitious and original, and I respect that, and I love that. And sometimes doesn't necessarily quite work.
Yeah, I feel like he tries to be like too ambitious on purpose, and it's just like
Mhm.
sometimes it kind of falls short. But I'm like, this wasn't the worst. It wasn't the worst movie.
Yeah, none of us hate this movie. We're not saying it's bad. Like, don't flame
Yeah.
us in the comments. One person down below.
Yeah, whoever that. Oh my gosh, whoever that was about.
Oh, no,
Bohemian
nope.
Rhapsody, Please just.
I mean,
go
please,
away.
feel free to comment down below. Tell us your opinion, but don't get very upset because it's our opinion, man.
Don't be a wanker about it, please. Don't be a wanker.
Don't be a wanker, he said.
Don't be a twat. Don't be a twat.
But yeah, the first hour and a half being in the insane facility, like, it had some interesting moments, but it just lasted too long, and they don't really explain how Glass even got out of his room in the first place. He just kind of did.
Yeah, and he was yeah, pretty much. And like Bruce Willis is like taking a nap half the time. He just
Yeah, Bruce
wakes-
Willis really
He's like,
got
"You
screwed
don't have
over
to
in
do
this one.
this."
The script was not friendly to David Dunn.
This script was not friendly to anybody, man. Man does not know how to write dialogue to save his life.
No, he cannot. Besides, like
McAvoy.
McAvoy. But like,
He's just so good at it. It's entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
Hedwig got the most screen time. It's just hilarious every time he does Hedwig.
Drake.
I used to like Drake. Oh,
I
Drake's
used
my
to like
man now.
Drake. He was like, I used to like Drake. He was
Oh,
like,
no.
he used to be my best man. And I was like, what? No, it is crazy how he kind of goes back and forth. I was actually watching a few interviews with him about the movie, and he has a very interesting accent. It is so heavy. But
Yeah.
he said he respects the hell out of Samuel Jackson, and
I think I heard of it. Someone like every actor in this movie say how much they were blown away by McAvoy.
yeah.
Like just watching him.
Literally every single person. It's they like I think it was the girl from Split where she was like, you know, like every single time that, you know, we shared a scene together, it was like half of her mind was saying, you know, like obviously, you know, we're doing a shoot, but the other half it's like you're kind of just getting like a personal like entertainment like bit from like this really great actor. So I was like, oh, that's...
Speaking of the girls from Split, let's talk about these 3 side characters that they kind of dragged along throughout this movie.
All right, listen. I know that you guys are not a fan of Joseph Dunn, and I don't care. I think
he has creepy eyes.
He does not have creepy
I'm not
eyes.
gonna lie, I didn't realize that was the
Spencer,
same kid.
Mr. Clark, Mr. Treat Clark.
Treat
I
Clark?
respect you as an actor, and I think you did a wonderful job. That's all I'd like to say.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't realize that was the same kid from The Sixth Sense and
Well, it's not The Sixth Sense.
Wait,
That's
what?
Haley Joel Osment.
The little kid who's like, I see dead people?
Yeah,
That's not the.
That's
Nope.
not the son of
It's a kid from Unbreakable.
Oh no.
Oh wow, I thought it was the same kid. Alright. Edit that part out.
Yeah, there were probably like 3 or 4 kid actors in the 90s, so I
Probably
understand your
not.
confusion.
They all look the same.
Mhm.
It's too much. But yeah, those three side characters.
Like,
don't
Glass's mom was fine. It's kind of weird that Samuel L. Jackson is 5 years older than that actress, and she's his mom.
Really?
Yeah.
She looked a lot older though. Oh my gosh.
But yeah, she was fine as a character. She still loves her son and just wants to try to get help for him. And then David Dunn's son was fine. He was doing a lot of research, trying to figure out what's going on.
Are you sure that's not the same kid from Sixth Sense?
It's definitely not.
I swear it's him.
Haley Joel Osment is who you're thinking of.
It is Haley.
Yeah,
I just wish that
What-
everybody in this movie, Casey Cooke,
Yeah, Casey
everybody
Cooke.
in this movie seems to have either too much to do or not enough to do.
Especially
And-
Bruce Willis. He literally didn't do anything this entire movie.
Yeah.
gotta
Except
just
being drowned
stop it.
alive in the end in the lamest way possible in a puddle.
Right. I was like, oh man.
I think that
they
M.
made it
Night-
look like he was drowning in a sea of water.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nope, it's just a little pothole side of the road. That's where he died.
Your super strength is gone. It's because you're touching water, I guess.
That is kind of weird. Like,
Which
I
was also not the case in Unbreakable.
Yeah, because he
The
got out of that
Unbreakable
pool.
Was that he just drowned a little bit.
And he got out of that pool, like, pretty easily.
Mm-hmm.
That
But,
is weird that water is his weakness.
M. Night loves doing that in movies.
He does.
I mean,
He
like,
really
I
does.
guess.
The aliens and signs were weak to water too.
What?
Yeah, have you seen Signs?
No.
I
They
No,
were
I
weak
don't
to
want
water.
to. Oh my gosh, that's funny. Well, like, I don't know, because I was listening to Nerd Soup, the Nerd Soup podcast, one of my favorite podcasts, and one of their guys, his name is Bo. He was talking about how Bruce Willis literally looks like he woke up from an afternoon nap.
He was
Like-
very tired the entire movie. He was groggy the whole
And I
time.
thought about it. Well, you know what? That's so true. He's like he just looks tired all the time.
Even look at the poster. He just
Yeah,
looks
like he doesn't. It's
tired.
like he doesn't even know what he's doing there. It's just he's just sitting there in a chair. Like, oh, but like, you know, you got McAvoy kind of like ready to get off his seat, and I
But
don't
but
know.
Casey Cooke, why does she go back and want to help out the Horde so
Well,
much?
here's the
because
thing.
she has to
I
bring.
think M. Night.
what's
I
his
would
face?
hazard a guess that there are a bunch of deleted scenes in this movie where it delves maybe into a Stockholmy kind of.
They could have made it like a
syndrome
really
thing.
little creepy.
I bet you this movie probably was rated R, and then he had to edit it down or something of that accord.
The
Oh,
original
sure, it was
edit was 3.5 hours apparently, so
Yeah.
there's a lot of editing.
Yeah, he had
I'd
to
like to
cut
see
out,
that
like,
cut.
He had to cut out 3
Release-
more.
release the Shyamalan
Release the
cut.
Shyamalan cut.
What? The Shyamalan cut. The Shama cut.
But yeah, they could have done some real creepy stuff with Casey Cooke's here. They could have had her like be in love with him creepily. They could have had her have disorders or so, some sort. That could have been cool.
Well, I mean, didn't she
But they
like
just-
self-harm herself in Split, and that's why they kind of like left her alone because
I thought
he-
no, she was abused by her uncle.
Yeah, her uncle
She probably harmed herself as well.
assaulted her.
Hmm.
See, like that was a weird part.
Because she knows
Because
he
I
is
watched the recap of that movie. Of
he has
both
eaten
of them.
people, and she's just okay with it, I guess.
Yeah, she really was down to
Multiple
clown.
people- She's just like,
was.
okay, we connect on a psychological level, so I'm gonna.
She
stay
did
with
him
you.
dirty, man. She did him dirty. It's like, oh yeah, I got him calmed down, and then I was like, no.
So yeah, let's talk about the ending in full here. So
I
this
was so-
climactic fight scene. Everyone is just out in the parking lot. It's like an
I wouldn't even
after-school
call that a fight scene. I was expecting like the Hulk to go up against pretty much like the Iron Man Hulkbuster, or like Hulk and Thor. But like no, they were kind of just
It was like an after-school
like a
fight in the
power
parking lot.
struggle. Yeah,
where
like a
everyone's
power
just sitting
struggle.
around watching, and no one's really doing anything.
out on the blacktop.
Basically,
It does play like that, doesn't it?
3
that's
o'clock,
what I thought as soon
blacktop,
as I
after
watched
school,
it.
be there.
because all the side characters are just watching. They're not like
Yeah.
saying anything. They're not
The
interfering.
police aren't doing anything. Are we supposed to believe those police officers are from like the secret
Yes,
society, or are
yeah.
they real police officers?
I
don't
think
even
everyone
know.
there is just supposed to be one of Sarah Paulson's people.
Maybe a
I guess.
little bit of both. Maybe a little bit of both. But yeah,
So
so,
then
Paulson-
this fight's going on. They're just like grappling onto each other's necks for like a minute, and that's
yeah, like
Chase them
pushing
to
each
fight.
other back and forth, and like that was the entire fight.
and then he gets thrown into the water and starting to
Yep.
drown.
Oh my
And then
God.
they're like, "Oh, wait, there's a
pothole.
twist."
Not the pothole.
Kevin's dad was on the same train as fucking David Dunn.
See,
No
I
way.
forgot that wasn't already established. When that
See,
happened, I
that's
assumed
when I
that.
lost it because I
Oh,
was
wasn't that
so
already a thing?
lost when that happened. I was like, what?
So yeah, that was the first twist. The first Shyamalan twist that was revealed was that fucking he died on the train that David Dunn was on. So then he takes credit for creating the horde, which just no, you
That doesn't make
you
any
didn't
sense.
do that.
But
You
like,
didn't have
okay,
that
so,
intention in your mind when you did it.
So like he somehow knew that Bruce Willis and McAvoy's dad
Yeah,
picked his
him
dad.
him knowing that his dad was going to be there and create a monster was not. It's not a thing.
I interpreted it a bit differently. I assumed that he didn't know that his dad was going to be there, but it was just a happy accident, and he was more surprised by that.
But he still took credit for it. At the
Well,
end.
yeah, because he's crazy. I mean, I don't think he explicitly took credit for it, saying, "Oh, I did this." I think it's more, when you like go up for a group project and you also take credit for the work that other people did.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the first twist, and you're like, okay, that's lame. Let's see what's
Okay,
next.
but like where was this train going? Like, so like
It was
during the
just like a
beginning of
train.
Unbreakable.
That's
It was
the
a-
real question. Where was
It was just a train in Philadelphia that people were on, and it crashed,
So
and
is
everyone
that
died
like the
except
beginning
David
of
Dunn.
Unbreakable?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone dies except for him.
That's so dumb. Okay. Oh. And that's how he finds out. Okay, that is super.
So then, David Dunn's son, Crazy Eyes, comes up and tells
Oh, crazy eyes.
tells Kevin Crumb that his dad was killed by Mr. Glass. So then, obviously, the beast turns on Mr. Glass, gives him a nice rib punch, which is an auto death for Glass Man.
Oh yeah, I was like, yeah, he's dead.
Yeah, it just took
I'm
one
like-
little punch to the ribs. That boy's out. There's
That was
nothing you
funny.
can
That
do
was
there.
funny.
And then,
First name Mister, last name Glass.
and then while this is happening, it feels like the whole time this is happening, David Dunn's being drowned in a puddle. It feels like it just
Literally,
never
no,
stops.
that's literally what's happening on a pothole on the side of the road. They're like,
He's like, "Don't worry about me,
need,
guys."
We need an abundance, like a body of water. Here, use this puddle. Just, I don't know, man. It was so crazy. Well, yeah, it wasn't the best. I like the parts where they touched on superheroes and, what they are and who they are and how they become the things that they are. But it was interesting. Like, I enjoyed seeing the Beast in action, I guess. Climbing up the
Yeah,
wall.
his 4-legged run.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. I was like, that looks.
I wonder.
Okay,
I wonder
that
how
was
they
the
did
coolest
that.
part of the whole thing.
Yeah, I was
When
gonna
that
ask,
happened,
how did they-
I fell back in my seat.
Do you think that was McAvoy, or do you think they had some CGI to help that one?
No,
I don't
okay,
know. I hope
McAvoy
that was
actually said
McAvoy.
for his muscles, those like his traps
Yeah,
and everything.
the muscles are real. But
Yeah.
was that four-legged run real? Like, how
I'm
did they-
hoping so. I'm gonna
No.
believe that it is.
There's no way.
I
He
mean,
said he said the only CGI that they did on his body was like the veins and like the scars and stuff.
yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, I thought.
But yeah,
so.
but then-
I thought that was kind of cool.
So then David Dunn
He
dies.
was
She reaches out her
ripped.
hand to show the tattoo, of course, and he dies in a puddle, which is the worst death ever.
Even worse
possibly.
than dying on the toilet.
Sorry, Elvis.
Wow, didn't expect an Elvis reference.
Yeah, I don't know how that one made it in here. And then Glass dies. I don't know if it's after or before that, but Glass dies, and then
We all know he was a goner.
then the
Yeah.
horde. Kevin's talking to Casey, and then gets sniped by a random person who gets a camera zoom in, and is not a person of reference for anything.
Nothing
Just
at
a
all.
random sniper.
Mm-hmm.
And then everyone's dead, and then at the end,
There's
Oh,
another
wait.
plot twist.
there's more.
There's more. I was like, damn
It was a suicide mission the whole time.
Yeah, he's like, he never intended to make it to that tower. It's like, no, you think? This is the dude in the wheelchair.
So then everything was
It's fine.
recorded and sent to the world, I guess, via email, which of course.
So here's the thing that kind of upsets me about that. In the opening of the movie, there's that whole business with the Superman punch people who are making a YouTube video, presumably showcasing how their guy can
Oh,
just punch
yeah.
people to the fucking ground. Real
Yeah.
That was a pretty
Yeah.
powerful punch.
Now, thank you.
Maybe he's David Dunn's son.
So I understand that M. Night Shyamalan is connecting that, the ending at least, in a way back to that, how our culture is sort of involved with consuming media and consuming things that are so real and so genuine to make our unquenchable desires for, I don't know, media apparent. But I think that in the world that he set up with the opening of that, these two guys are going around punching people willy-nilly for YouTube videos, for everyone to believe that that footage was real is a little bit far-fetched. to
Yeah,
me.
because
I kind of agree, yeah.
they could be so easily denied. Like, anyone in that organization can be like, no, it's fake. Look, it's Photoshop.
And then everyone can be like, all right.
yeah, like there's no way of knowing it's real.
That
And then
is
even if
very
they do think it's real, what happens? Like some more heroes come out, I guess. But then it
Maybe.
doesn't really affect the secret society. They'll just keep doing their job. I don't know.
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you, man. It is just.
It's just a disappointing ending.
Ooh,
Well, I wouldn't call it disappointing. but-
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is available on iTunes. Just
You're
want to let
cutting
you
that,
guys
right?
know. Oh, I'm copping that for sure. I'm gonna
Okay.
go. I'm
You're chopping this boy up.
maybe no.
You guys see the after credits scene?
There was no.
There was a
after credits
what?
scene.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
There was?
I was just trying to figure out. No, there
Oh
wasn't.
god! I was like, I saw this movie twice.
Every time I watch a movie, I go to IMDb and check because there's an after credits section, and I check to see
Are you
if they
serious?
have
This
it.
after credit scene?
There's
They-
not.
No, there's not.
Oh, I
He was
was
pulling our
like,
legs.
because I missed the one for Venom. I'm so mad. I was like, well, that's it.
You know you have to say for a superhero movie.
Yeah, but it was
Well,
Venom.
not this one.
Yeah, not this one. But but Split you had to.
Plot twist.
Oh dear.
That's-
Say,
Yeah.
what score would you guys give this movie here?
Out of 10, probably like a 5.5.
I like many things about the movie. James McAvoy. Upon the second rewatch, I enjoyed it a bit more, but I was still on the whole disappointed with the conclusion of this series. So I think I would probably go about 5 out of 10.
I'm going 6. I enjoyed it, but
Whoa.
the ending just.
Whoa,
Wow.
wow. This is new.
But I would say
Well,
Information.
I texted Devin as soon as I got out of the theater. I was like, that was interesting. He's like, don't say anything else.
yeah. I was like, no more. I need to go in clean.
I'm like, all right. I mean, honestly, couldn't even think of anything else to say about that movie. I'm like, huh.
The best way I can describe the movie is enjoyable but clunky. Very, very clunky.
Yep, that's a good assessment.
It really is. All right. Well, I think that concludes this video. So let us know what you guys think in the comments down below. Did you like it? Did you hate it? And are you planning on going to see it? Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel if you do enjoy our content. And don't forget to follow us over on Twitter at BrokeBoyGaming. And we will see you guys later.
Bye.
A lot of people are going to die.
Don't do this.
Are you ready?
What do we call you, sir?
First name, Mr. Last name, Glass.
My shiny teeth that twinkle just like the stars in space. My shiny teeth that sparkle adding beauty to my face. My shiny teeth that glisten just like a Christmas tree. You know they walk a mile just to see me smile. Woo! Shiny teeth and me. Yes, they're all so perfect, so white and pearly. Brush, gargle, rinse a couple